guys? It's me, Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. What kind of foolishness I am? Anyways, guys, look what I'm doing today. I've got some oxtail, and that's all it is, oxtail and some vegetable oil browning. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. This is going to be sort of a long recipe in the sense that it has to braise for a couple of hours because it's being oxtail. Someone left the freezer door open. We have one of those standing freezers downstairs. Someone left the door open, everything thawed out in there. Mr. Oxtail is very expensive in the stores, so though I wouldn't plan on making these recipes, this one here I'm calling my freezer shut down on me, and I'm putting everything I have in the kitchen. And that is why you're seeing all kind of potato, all kind of scallions, scotch bonnet pepper, all kind of good thing going in this. So this here we're doing a stew oxtail with everything from the fridge. So the oxtail, and this is a couple pounds of oxtail, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil on medium heat, medium-high heat. I've been browning it for about 6-7 minutes or so. And all I'm doing is removing it out of the pot because we want to create some flavors. And typically in the Caribbean, we love to marinate our meat, to season it up and marinate it overnight, to really take on a lot of flavor. But because this is going, I'm turning my heat down on low, because this is going to be cooking for so long, it really doesn't make sense marinating, because when we cook this for 2 hours, 2.5 hours braising away, it is going to develop all those lovely flavors a marinade would do. So in goes some onion, couple cloves of garlic, some scallions, as well as some celery. And I'm pretty much, as I told you guys, using just about every little flavor ingredient I'm finding in the refrigerator. So with my heat on low, I'm just going to sweat that down for about 4 minutes. Next up, I'm going to hit it with some fresh ground black pepper. And I've got here some allspice or pimento berries. And this here is where you're going to get that key flavor from. So I've got about 3, 6, 7, about 7 of those. We add 2 more for good measurement. Just gonna create a little space, put everything to the side, because what I'm gonna add now is some tomato paste, something not too popular in the Caribbean yet. It's gonna add a lovely flavor and help give us some rich color. And I just want to toast that down a little bit. And I usually get it in the tube because then all I do is seal it and put it back in the fridge. So if you guys are interested in using tomato paste, I would suggest getting the one in the tube. All I'm going to do now is move that around to sort of toast that tomato paste on the bottom of the pan here, and that's going to release all them sugars and oh boy, smelling good. It's now time to add back those brown pieces and any sort of juice that was formed while it was sitting there. Be sure to scrape that into the pot. Turn the heat up to medium-high. Remember we had it at low while we were sweating the onions and all that. And then add some water. So we want to cover this because this has to slowly braise away for a couple hours. Make sure it's covered with water, so I'm going to add a bit more water in. Bring that up to a boil. But before we do, we've got Mr. Scotch bonnet pepper, Mr. Caribbean Sunshine, boom, whole just so, as well as some soy sauce. That's going to add some nice body as well as color to this. If you don't have soy sauce, or if you prefer using browning gravy, gravy browning, or browning as we call it in the Caribbean, do so. Now remember, I use soy sauce in there, so I'm going to go light with the salt. Bring that up to a boil, and then we got to let that simmer. I'm sure it's come up to a boil now. Look at that. Simmer. Can't forget some fresh thyme. Toss that thyme in there. We're going to reduce this to low. Put the lid back on there and let that simmer for at least 2 hours. It's been going for a couple hours now, and we're going to do a couple things. I've got here 3 potatoes that I cut up into chunks, as well as 1 carrot, because the oxtail are not as tender as I would want it to be. I'm going to cook this for another 40-45 minutes or so. I want this falling off the bone. By adding the potato and the carrot, I'm stretching this dish so a lot more people can enjoy this. It goes great with rice and peas, and boy, there's all kind of different ways you can enjoy this stewed oxtail. But now I'm gonna just sort of make sure all that potato is in the liquid. And we're gonna let that go for about half an hour. At the half an hour point, what we're gonna do is to taste it for salt and add some, and then continue for the last 15 minutes or so to sort of thicken up the gravy. If you want, this is the point where you're going to remove that Scotch bonnet pepper, but I want it in there. I'm going to burst it actually because I want that fire, that heat, that kick from there. So back goes on the lid and let that go for about 40 minutes more. One thing I forgot to quickly mention to you guys, if you find that you need some more liquid during that braising process, do add about a cup more water or so in there, just to make sure you have enough liquid in there to get this oxtail nice and tender. Just look at that, nice thick gravy. The potatoes are looking nice and tender. I'm just going to turn off my heat. Here's where you're going to taste it for salt, adjust accordingly. If you want to give this another layer of flavor, hit in with about 1/4 teaspoon to maybe 1/2 teaspoon of brown sugar. It is going to really pick this up. And speaking about pick it up, I have here some chopped parsley. That's just to brighten that up a little bit. My heat is off. This is good to go. If you can't afford oxtails, as I said, oxtail is Mr. Oxtail in the grocery store. It is very expensive. A good alternative, believe it or not, is turkey necks. Yeah, man. Give turkey necks a try next time instead of the oxtails. You're going to love it. Chris here at CaribbeanPot.com. Give this oxtail stew a chance. My fridge is nice and clean now because I put all my stuff in here. Boy, my belly going to love this.